Halloween is in the air. Hey guys, welcome back to Morris Manor, and today we're doing another Reviews from the Crypt on none other than the Spirit Halloween 2014 Electrified Maniac by Tekky Toys. Let's take a look at the categories, shall we? The first category is detail. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the Electrified Maniac honestly doesn't have that much detail on the Maniac itself. The hands and shackles are decently detailed, as well as the feet are not that bad detailed. But besides from that, he doesn't have very much detail. And honestly, I can't say I'm disappointed with that, because this is one of the few props that I have that actually doesn't need much detail, in my opinion anyway. The box, however, actually has quite a bit of detail. As you can see, we have the handprint there, which is quite small for a normal person's hand. I have oversized hands, but even at that, it's still fairly small, because the box itself is actually not that big. If you have, like, high voltage or the first aid kit, then the boxes for those are much bigger than this one. But as you can see, we have like a nice fan in there, as well as some wires, some lights, and then a cool little sign that says high voltage and everything, and the like electric sign thing. And then this wire at the top, which is actually unfortunately kind of coming loose. I did get mine definitely used from Jared a Lantern, although he's probably not the one that did this, because I know for a fact that he bought it from a guy who didn't really know how to take care of props very well, at least. And I'm fairly certain that this was from him. Not Jared, I mean the other guy. As for the clothing on the Maniac, it's just some generic grayish, bluish pants, I guess, and then a faded brown shirt is all, as well as a black bag over his head. I think it actually looks really good. I don't know why, it kind of just, the clothes remind me almost of something medieval, I guess I would say. And I like that aspect of it a lot, because this sort of thing can be used in different ideas and different themes, such as, of course, a laboratory. As I aforementioned, he kind of looks medievalish, so he would actually work in that too, as well as a prison or dungeon or something along those lines. He's just really cool, and I think while he's not amazingly detailed, like I said, he doesn't really need it. Overall, though, I think I'm going to go ahead and give him and the box half a star for detail. The next category is price. Now, I actually got mine for a really, really good price. If I remember correctly, it was like maybe $80, $85, something along those lines. And that's actually a really good price, considering how old and rare this thing is. I mean, I know it's not, like, ancient, but, like, you know, considering it is pretty rare, and from 2014, that is hard to find and everything. That's a really good price, especially for one in fully working condition with very few flaws or whatever. But we're actually going to judge it by the actual price that it was sold in stores, which is, of course, $199.99 US currency, of course. Now, I can't say he's 100% worth it, because I can think of a few flaws about this thing, and I don't know, like, I would lower it to maybe 180, maybe even 150, and that would definitely have been worth it more. 200 is not terrible, though. Like, if I'm just saying, if you can find it for 200 anymore, it's worth it. But, like, back in the day when they were everywhere in stores and everything, would 200 be worth it? I would say probably not exactly. 180 probably would be a better price for this, although I do get it, you know, life sizes are generally $200, and it's not like an outrageous price or anything either. Although I do like to mention, since he has the motion and everything, which he doesn't have a lot of it or anything, but he has some motion, which shakes him around and also moves his head back and forth, making it look like there's also a mechanism moving his head, when there's not. It's just like dangling and whatever, so like when he moves, his head moves as well. So that gives him a little bit more movement and does make him worth, or at least a little bit more worth the price. And so I guess I'm going to go ahead and give him half a star for price. The next category is quality. Now this one's actually probably going to take us a little while, so just be prepared for that. You can, of course, feel free to skip this category if you want. The head itself is made of a thin plastic with a light inside, shaped like a skull, of course, for it to light up through the bag, which is just generic prop fabric, basically. I'm not sure the exact material, but it's not like anything incredibly high quality, but also nothing super low quality, so mid, I guess. If that makes any sense. And the shirt is pretty generic Tekky clothing fabric, and it is of course colored brown with the sensor right on the chest, as Tekky likes to do a lot with life-size props. I've noticed that they've put the sensor right on the chest, at least with Boogeyman I know, and I feel like there's a few others as well. And then of course it's cool that they have these wires coming out from the head into the shackles, which we'll get to that in a second. But I think it's just kind of a cool detail that they didn't even need to add, but definitely adds some realism to the prop itself when it always falls behind. If you're wondering, the wires are not posable, and I'm kind of glad they're not, because that would be weird. The hands are both shackled together. There's a string in between them holding them together. I think, I'm not sure, but I think when you connect them together, then it's permanent. You can't get it back out. So just a warning. Of course, I think the hands are pretty well detailed. I mean, of course, they don't look as realistic as, say, Distortion's props do, but considering this is a Spirit Halloween item, they definitely look very good, I think. The shackles are made of a thin plastic, but have the metallic look to them, which is really cool. Also, I forgot to mention that the hands are made of a hard plastic. I don't believe there's anything inside, so just be aware, but they are pretty hard plastic and pretty heavy duty, I think. As well as both shackles feature a little light just right there, if you can see that little thing, as well as the other one has it as well right there. You can kind of see that. It's kind of blurry, but I think you know what I mean, and those both flash as if he's being electrocuted, of course. The pants are just, of course, also generic Tekky fabric, nothing amazing, but all of it is padded with black fabric underneath to make sure nothing shines through and you can't see the skeleton of the prop, which we'll talk about in a second here as well. The feet are also thin plastic, just as most props are, just like, you know, just the thin plastic. If you can kind of see what I mean, it doesn't have anything on the inside right there, but doesn't look bad or anything, of course. I think it looks cool, and also the feet are, at least I know I don't think they're exactly the same. I can't judge because I don't have her, but the feet look pretty similar to me, at least, as the Broken Girl's feet do. The skeleton of the Maniac are telescoping leg pulls, as they use with a lot of their props. They're not all exactly in order because I had to kind of screw them back in, because like I mentioned before, the owner before Jared, which is the person I got it from Jared, the person who owned it before him didn't know how to correctly disassemble it, therefore it was kind of weird and a pain to assemble correctly, but nonetheless I got it and it's up and functioning, so that's all I care about. And then the normal hip loop bracket thing, as you can see. Over here, it's kind of hard to see. I might try to turn on the flash real quick. That's better. So as you guys can see, we have the on, off, and MIT/foot pad setting right there with the switch. This is the MIT cable, which connects right into here. And then, of course, we have the volume control. Mine's volume is a little bit staticky, but it's fine. And then we have the, hold on, yeah, we have the pole that thrashes the entire thing around. This pole connects into, I think this pole connects from the head into the thrashing piece right here, the thrashing module. And it actually works pretty well. I forgot to mention before, but the base is made of just a pretty thick wooden material, just, I guess, a board of wood or whatever, which is pretty common, again, for Tekky props. Let's take a look at the quality of the box and what it is made of, exactly. So, we have the like clear piece of plastic here, which is kind of thin, but not like it's going to break or anything. It's not going to break easily, I can tell. I think you guys could probably tell that these two little things right here, I'm not sure what they're called, but I'm pretty sure those are both made of just like very thin plastic with lights beneath, and then so is the fan as well, and then these two are also plastic, I believe. The box frame itself is plastic, harder plastic than this clear piece, of course, but still pretty durable. Over here we have demo, off and on, and you can leave it at off usually when you're not using it. And then here's the MIT, multiple item trigger connection piece to start off your Maniac with the box. And then we have the hanging pieces, whatever, on the back, or like the holes to hang it up. It requires, I left the screw off so that I could open this easily, it requires 3 AA batteries to function. And yeah, so not terrible quality, but also not like perfect quality. Still pretty impressed. So anyways, the Maniac is, I'd say, about average quality for a spirit prop, and I think it'll probably last me a little while, hopefully at least long enough until Halloween, and let's hope a couple years after that. Of course, I can't predict exactly how long it will last, but assuming I'm careful with it, I wouldn't be surprised if it lasted me another 3 to 4 years. So I'm going to go ahead and give it 1 full star for quality, because although it's not absolutely perfect, it is, in my opinion, very good, and you'd have to be pretty rough with it in order to break something important. So anyways, on to the next category, which is the animation, or what the prop itself actually does. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the demo in the light, and then slightly darkened at least, to see the texture on the face a little bit better. So let's go ahead and see that. So as you guys can see, he has some really awesome animation and motion, and I am overall pretty happy with the way that he moves. Like I said, I think it doesn't look the most realistic or anything for somebody being electrocuted, but it looks pretty good in a haunted house, especially with the lighting up face. That's probably one of my favorite aspects about this whole thing, maybe even my favorite. I love the lighting up face. It just adds so much like creepiness to it. But overall, I'm actually very happy with the animation, and I'm going to go ahead and give it 1 full star for animation. And now, the final category. The category that honestly is the most important in any haunted house prop, which is the creepiness overall of the Electrified Maniac. Now, honestly, I think he's really creepy. Like, just the idea of seeing an inmate or anybody, you could even use him as just some innocent soul, being electrocuted is pretty scary. Like, I know they have, like, people who can actually watch those things. I would, of course, never really want to go actually see somebody die, but especially back in, like, medieval times, everybody would gather around to see people be hanged and whatever, and it kind of, I don't know, just, like, the idea of somebody, like, dying from electric shock right before your eyes, It's a really cool idea, and I think it's very creepy, especially with the skull effect, which I think adds just a lot more to the creepiness, and with the flickering lights and just how he thrashes back and forth. I think it's really cool. And honestly, that's probably all I really have to say about how creepy he is. And I just have to say that I'm definitely going to be giving him 1 full star overall for his creepiness. The Electrified Maniac has received altogether a whopping 4 out of 5 stars. Do you agree with my opinions? And what are your thoughts on this prop? I'd like to know in the comments below, as well as any suggestions for any more reviews. Cornstalkers will probably be next. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded much recently. I know I keep saying I'm going to, and then I don't. But I have lots of haunt plans that I will definitely need to be sharing with you guys very soon, especially since the sneak peek season is actually about a month away, if I'm correct. So, anyways, that's my review on the Electrified Maniac. If you can find one, I highly suggest you would buy it. He is one of my favorites in my collection, probably. And I have to say again, thank you to Jared O'Lantern, link in the description to his channel. He's a very underrated haunter, I think, and he deserves more subs. Thank you again for giving me this great deal on this guy. I can't thank you more, because this guy is honestly just amazing, and I'm so glad that I got him. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned on Morris Manor, where Halloween is in the air. Happy hauntings, guys. Bye.